Beautiful opening shot. Scotland.
Judy! Judy, what are you doing? Come on!
Love that accent, man. The music of
You're going to get me in
the
trouble.
hills?
Everyone knows there are ghosts in the hills.
Ghosts in the hills.
I can hear it.
That kind of sounds like a party, doesn't it? Like a celebration? Oh, beautiful. Whoa. I mean, a crow is kind of ominous, isn't it? But even more ominous is the TARDIS etched into that stone. Good opening.
They disappeared.
Except they didn't.
They were annihilated in battle.
Then where's the big pile of bodies?
Ooh, did they go into hiding?
So where's the 9th Legion?
I'll meet you back here with a Roman soldier.
Yeah, but seriously, second class?
Yeah, it's a long story. Come on.
It usually is. Oh, that looks good.
I honor you.
Careful, careful, Bill.
I honor all our dead.
Look at the punchy red of her sweater. Like I said, careful, Bill. Can't just walk up on people like that, especially people in a different time era. Ooh. Is this it? The ghosts of the hill?
5,000 Roman soldiers.
Oh, I wish I'd studied Latin so you could understand me.
I understand you.
Sorry, what?
TARDIS, right?
I understand you.
Ah, it's the Doctor. Or the TARDIS, or both. Are you from the 9th Legion?
Yes.
Seems a bit down about it though.
Don't you know?
Decimated.
What could do that?
Complete and total absence of any kind of sunlight.
Death by Scotland.
No.
No.
It's happened a short while ago.
Alien presence.
This is alien.
All right.
Usually is.
Good
Oh. Already? Oh god. There's the rest of them. So she kind of got stung. Let's see if that means anything.
How long will that hold? Not for long. Bring her through.
What about the Wi-Fi code? How about that?
Don't move, don't speak. Carl will be here soon.
Whose car? Did everybody hear that? That was the sound of my patience shattering into a billion little pieces. Sorry, wait a minute. Are you the mighty warrior that we've all been waiting for? Where are all the grown-ups?
Interesting.
Great battle, and we beat the Romans. Slaughter, plunder. They do
Conquest.
This work and they call it empire. They're not conquerors, they're cowards.
They're also all dead.
Ooh. I think I'm looking at some kind of portal. There it is. It's kind of, yeah, it's bringing back some memories.
You're back. They said you would probably never come back.
I was in there for seconds.
2 days.
What? In 2 days, Nardole became part of the group?
Yeah.
Look at this, beautiful stuff, huh?
You hungry?
Your lollipop and your kitty face paint.
Oh man,
Crazy novelty monster killer.
he's really going in on her.
Are you holding that thing right up by the
I don't want your help.
Yeah, don't worry, Bill. Lucius will look after you. Shut up, Cornelius.
Lucius.
This is probably just a really...
It probably isn't, to be honest.
I don't like men that way.
What, not ever?
Not ever. Only women.
You like Vitus then?
What?
He only likes men.
There, yep.
And you like both?
I'm just ordinary. You know, like men and women.
Or,
Isn't this all very...
To protect a muddy little hillside, you doomed your
he's really quite harsh on her.
1 man.
It's interesting.
You think 1 man can save us all?
Come and meet him. He's met loads of people like you. The terrified, the desperate. And he always helps. You're not cowards. You're scared. Scared is fine. Scared is human.
Scared is normal.
Are you sulking?
I'm remembering the dead.
All right. Or save that for old age?
Again.
They're dead because of me.
You know, every moment you waste wallowing about in that happy thought means more of the living.
It's all by design, his approach.
When you want to win a war, remember this. It's not about you. Believe me, I know.
Yeah, he
Time
knows.
to grow up.
But I'm afraid.
Who isn't?
Afraid is good,
Still got to face
sometimes.
your beast anyway. You do that.
My.
Brought you the Ninth Legion.
Oh, there they are. The Lost Legion of the Ninth.
Totally found him.
Yeah, you totally did.
Nardo! What happened to you?
We never wanted to fight.
They
We
started
lived
it.
in peace. And then you came.
So now that we all understand each other, how do we all sound?
You sound like children.
You sound like children too.
You all do.
From the doctor's perspective.
You can understand what everyone in the universe is saying. Everybody just sounds like children.
There are exceptions.
Thank you very much.
Not you. She's
The real grandpa.
You slaughtered everything
goat.
that she loves. Now, you'll have a choice. You can carry on slaughtering each other till no one is left standing.
Or join
You gotta
forces.
head up,
Oh.
because there's a new war now. And they will keep eating until
There's no more light.
there are no stars left.
Beautiful score.
So, whose side are you on now? Because as far as I can see, there's only one side left. If it helps, I do have a plan.
But what are we going to do this time?
60 or
Line
70
up
years.
pigs sacrificing themselves until the end of the world.
What do I do this time?
You shall not pass, eh?
The gate has to be guarded. There's no other way. The trouble is, human lifespan.
Oh.
They're tiny. They're hilarious. You get used up too quickly. So what's the answer? Go on, figure it out.
Yeah.
The answer's me. I go on for ages. I don't even really die. I regenerate. I can hold that gate till the sun goes out.
This isn't your job.
No, it isn't, Bill. It's who I am. I've been standing by the gates of your world, keeping you all safe since you crawled out of the slime. Not stopping now.
I can.
What did you say?
Time to grow up, Doctor. Time to fight my fight.
No one else can do this. Not like I can.
We can. I'm ready. I'll guard the gate with you. I'll fight by your side.
This is my destiny, my fight.
Take it in turns.
Two of you can't hold the gate.
All of them.
I'm counting more than two.
Yeah, it's gonna be all of them.
Stands ready to serve.
Oh, stop being brave. I can't bear brave people.
You inspired this doctor.
It's their destiny, not yours. I'm sorry, Doctor, but you have a vault to guard. You can't take on every fight.
The whole thing is kind of hit and miss, though.
Holding back the dark.
I thought I could hear the music, but I can't. Can I? There ain't enough time.
Music's funny like that.
Ugh, I just got chills.
Time you were guarding that vault, we don't want Missy getting any ideas.
One should always try to avoid those. Hello. Well, you lot were ages. I was getting ever so worried.
So right now, Del, she's been doing some work for me.
Ah.
I'm sorry. I assumed they knew.
No, it's fine.
She's supposed to be in the vault.
How are the engines?
Better than you deserve. You are naughty. Do you ever do basic maintenance?
Yeah.
I've got a plan for that.
What?
You.
Don't make me go squeaky voiced.
Okay, back down our door.
I'm bio-locked out of the controls. I can't even get through those doors. I'm as much a prisoner here as I am in the vault.
No, you most certainly are not.
Did you watch us?
Some of it, a little bit.
What did you think?
Oh, is she reviewing us now?
All those little people trapped in a hill, fighting forever.
And they're more than just fighting. And there's music.
Eternal.
There's music.
Hmm.
You understand the universe. You see it, you grasp it. But you'll never learn to hear the music.
Huh.
I don't even know why I'm crying. Why do I keep doing that now?
I don't know. Maybe you're trying to impress me.
Yes, probably some devious plan. That sounds about right.
No, the alternative would be much worse. The alternative is that this is for real. And it's time for us to become friends again.
Do you think so?
I don't know. That's the trouble with hope. It's hard to resist.
Love the lighting on their faces. Quite the contrast. Okay, so that's episode 10. Yeah, it certainly ends off on quite the interesting note. You know, the ongoing Missy and Doctor aspect of this series. You know, much more recently, you know, Missy in the flesh. Hell, you know, beyond just in the flesh, she is now, I suppose, taking the baby steps, or the Doctor is taking the baby steps, though it's maybe a bit more than a baby step to bring her aboard the TARDIS. And, you know, the thing is, she's actually quite the, I don't know, she's quite the specialist, I suppose. And you see that she's actually quite impressive in there, right? You know, inside of the TARDIS, and, you know, kind of just the mechanical component, you know, even though there's organic elements and all of that, just, you know, the upkeep of a TARDIS. You see that she excels a tad bit more than our Doctor, right? As far as maintenance is concerned, like, she's able to gauge, you know, I don't know, the condition, the life force, and optimize the TARDIS if need be. And, you know, the Doctor tells both Nardole and Bill as much, right? You know, I've got her doing a few errands, right? You see, it's tough for the Doctor, right? Because of course he knows there is going to be pushback from Nardole and Bill. I mean, Nardole really gets quite heated. I think maybe a little too much for my liking. You know, because I said it's kind of hit and miss, this aspect of it. You know, you have episodes of them just being out and about, right? And that element doesn't, you know, get brought up at all. You know, Nardole does not think to bring up that idea of, oh, you're not supposed to be out here. You're supposed to be back there at the university, and you're supposed to be guarding the vault and Missy. And then, of course, other times, you know, specifically in this episode now, he's really quite on that aspect of it, right? He's really on the Doctor's ass about it. But yeah, you know, this time Nardole is all about keeping that sacred oath, right? So yeah, you know, it is a tad bit hit and miss. It comes and goes, right? It kind of disappears from time to time. But, you know, that kind of brings me to my next point about Nardole as a companion. I've got to say, you know, it's a love-hate relationship. Actually, I think calling it love is probably putting it kindly. I think hit and miss. Yep, I think hit and miss is much more appropriate in this case. Because listen, as you saw, you know, I cannot hide it. I simply cannot hide it. Sometimes Nardole just annoys me so much, right? To the point that I'm just like, all right, Nardole, back up. You know, stop talking. You know, I get that annoyed at times. But then at other times, he just makes me giggle. He just makes me laugh. I mean, it's the first time I've had this type of reaction to a companion, right? At times, I simply cannot stand him, right? And maybe, you know, that humor is an acquired taste. It's not for everyone. But I'm not even speaking of the humor, right? Because from time to time, he does make me giggle. He does make me smile and laugh even, right? It's just, I don't know, something about that character as a whole. Maybe the actor. And, you know, maybe sometimes the way he kind of addresses the Doctor. Yeah, just as a whole, you know, I just didn't take to Nardole as I did to pretty much most of the other companions, right? Listen, I'll be honest, I think it could be the actor. That could be a major component of this. And listen, I'm sure that many of you might have the opposite opinion of Nardole, that you adore Nardole. You find him, you know, just really quite comedic. And, you know, you like the actor. I get that. You know, it's all a matter of opinion. I'm sure there's other companions, other characters in the show that I like quite a bit that others might not care for all that much, right? That happens. It happens. But for me, you know, Nardole is just, I don't know. He truly kind of feels like a tag along to me. But listen, that being said, you know, I'll be fair. I like the trio. I do. Right. You know, I've had trios before, but, you know, within that trio was the element of love. You know, this is actually something I prefer a bit more. Right. None of that. There's none of that here. Right. The dynamics between the three, you know. So in that sense, yeah, you know, I like Nardole as a second companion to the Doctor. Right. 3 total, including the Doctor. So I like that aspect of it. You know, I'm not going to say I don't like that. I do. And of course, having that second companion and 3 total kind of allows for that split that happens all too often in this series, right? You see that they get split apart, right? And of course, by the end of it, they do come back together. Hell, in this one, it's much, much earlier than the end of it. Even in the last episode, actually. I mean, I think these past 2 episodes have been really quite similar in some of the ideas that are presented, right? Factions, multiple factions kind of coming together, overcoming differences. But as far as the factions in this episode are concerned, it's all about kind of, ultimately, both factions kind of essentially growing up, right? And coming to terms with how things are for them. Both these factions, children essentially, children sent to war in the first place, right? It's certainly a coming of age story, isn't it? But again, there's still this bit of lingering sadness there, isn't there? Right? That they ultimately sacrifice their futures to guard this interdimensional beast, right? That's been devastating them. But at the same time, this sacrifice is meant to be their destiny, as Bill reminds the Doctor, right? It's not yours, not this time. It's theirs. You can't rob them of that. So, ultimately, it's kind of bittersweet, isn't it? Because it is heroic as well. Even though they are sacrificing their futures, their youth, and devoting the rest of their lives essentially to this, as long as they can, essentially, right? That's why the Doctor felt that he's ideal for this. And listen, the Doctor is completely open to the idea. He immediately just kind of latches onto that. That okay, I guess it's got to be me. He kind of, jokes about the lifespans, the meager lifespans of us humans, right? And he doesn't even really die, does he? He just regenerates, right? Is that the first time Bill has actually heard about that? Or did they kind of speak about it off screen, right? Because a couple of episodes ago in the ending of the 3-parter, he does a fake out, the regeneration fake out. And at that point, Bill doesn't even know about regeneration, right? So perhaps he, logically, I'm sure he's explained it by now, right? That fake out, and the yellow glow and the energy that's kind of expelling from him. I'm sure he's explained it by now. But again, rightfully so, Bill steps in and lets him know, more than lets him know, she makes sure that they get their chance at this, and he doesn't, go in on this. It's not his job. It's not his destiny. It's theirs. And, that brings me to Bill and her part in this episode and, series 10 as a whole as well. I think 10 episodes in, she's been fantastic, a fantastic companion. She really has. I've really taken to her. I enjoy this character quite a bit. I think she's been such a fantastic addition. She's always inquisitive. She's always learning. She's picking up new skills and knowledge, applying her own unique experiences from her own unique life, right? And just honestly, as a whole, being rather personable. She is. She's just so likable. And I think in this episode, it's quite an excellent outing for her yet again, as she is, again, split up. And she's the one who kind of, after a certain point, after spending a bit of time with, the lost soldiers or the hiding soldiers or the soldiers in hiding, and, kind of coming to learn that these are really young people. These are young adults, right? Teenagers. And then at that point, you see that she steps up. She rallies them. She's able to rally them. And of course, her being with those, soldiers in that cave, it's just a really, entertaining dynamic, isn't it? A lot of fun stuff taking place there. And yeah, I thought it's a great scene of the soldiers and Carr, but Carr specifically stepping up first, right? And telling the Doctor that indeed it is time to grow up, right? And it's time to fight my fight. As he told her much earlier, growing up and facing the music, right? Being afraid and tackling your specific beast anyways, right? The Doctor is really quite harsh on her throughout the episode. And you could tell it's really quite deliberate as well, right? It's certainly a bit of tough love, time to grow up. And again, the thing is, it's not just specific to Carr. Ultimately, to the Doctor, pretty much everyone appears to be a child, right? An embryo, even, if you look at Carr, or, if you look at Carr from the Doctor's perspective, as he put it specifically as well. It's an interesting perspective to have. And you see that Bill understands it as well, or at least she gains an understanding for the Doctor's perspective of the universe and the people of the universe, right? Or maybe even Earth in this case specifically. So yeah, at times it feels really quite harsh, doesn't it? A lot of reality checks being handed out by the Doctor and a lot of tough love. But you see, ultimately, they are thankful. Carr is certainly thankful by the end of it. The doctor tried to help her. But yeah, I've got to say, once again, one of the strongest elements of an episode here is actually the production side of things. Once again, beautiful, stunning photography. I mean, I think this episode has some exceptional low light photography. It does, some beautiful stuff here, man. And the thing is, I think I've said it before already, this is simply the best the show has looked. But, if you look at the opposite of the low light shots, it's beautiful stuff, a lot of landscape shots, a lot of wide angle shots, a lot of vistas, beautiful stuff. And, like I said, maybe a lot of this probably is on location in Scotland. I'm sure, maybe other places could double as Scotland. But yeah, I mean, you see that they take a lot of pride in those shots in actually, showcasing the landscape. So that's one of the main reasons I felt that, okay, maybe they actually did shoot on location in Scotland. But, going back to Bill, I'm not even sure if she's meant to stick around after this season or after series 10 as companion. But, let's go back to the Doctor and Missy, because I think there's some really fantastic stuff here. Perhaps some of the best stuff of this episode. At one point, he tells her that she didn't learn to hear the music, right? And you see her reaction to this is quite interesting, right? Maybe a tad bit defensive, but she knows there's something to that, right? She didn't have a quick retort. She didn't have a quick, cheeky response. Nothing. She just kind of listens, even though you see there's this change in expression on her face. And, I think one thing is so clear is that, you just see it. Again, it's a great credit to, Capaldi's acting, Mr. Capaldi's acting, that he most definitely, wants to help Missy, right? He wants to help her, see differently, perceive things differently as well, right? Again, going back to the whole, didn't learn to hear the music aspect of it. And, let's kind of stick to that. I think he's essentially trying to tell her that, she's not able to understand the unspoken emotions or motivations behind someone's words, perhaps. That perhaps ultimately she is capable of demonstrating a high level of sensitivity and perception, perhaps a much more profound level of comprehension, right? She's capable. She's a Time Lord. Right? She's impressive, Missy. But, it's all about choices. All about the choices, isn't it? And, that kind of goes back to, one of the most poignant moments of this episode and series 10, I'd say. The doctor saying something along the lines of, that's the trouble with hope, right? It's hard to resist. And you can see, man, how desperate the doctor is, right? He doesn't show it. Right, I think that's a subtle acting through Capaldi, but you can tell just how desperate he is to really try to help Missy here. And you see he's taking chances, right? The other two are really against it, and he'll take every single chance to kind of defend Missy. At one point I think it's Nardole who tells her to go down below, or I don't know, to another section, maybe to be locked away or something. And immediately the doctor tells Nardole and Missy, no, that's not going to be necessary, right? He does that really authentic head nod towards Missy. It's like no, it's cool. And of course, Michelle Gomez at it again, scene stealer, absolute scene stealer every single time. There's a really interesting exchange there, right? She tells the doctor, I don't even know why I'm crying, right? And of course, the doctor said something like, maybe it's because you're trying to impress me. And you see that she immediately latches onto that, right? Almost to, dismiss the whole thing as a joke. And, she said, yes, probably, right? Some devious plan. That sounds about right. But, the doctor doesn't just give up on that. He brings it back in and tells her that, the other option, the alternative is that this is for real, right? And it's time for us to become friends again. And you see that she's immediately overcome with emotion. I think that's authentic. I do. But, again, the doctor, he's still kind of, maintaining a distance, he literally takes a step back as well. But you see that psychologically he is trying to almost protect himself from getting hurt, right? But you can also tell how badly he just wants this, right? Listen, man, he's got companions. He's always got, friends, but this is a Time Lord, right? The only other Time Lord. So, it's something no one else can understand but the doctor. And of course, this dynamic goes all the way back to our earlier series as well, right? David Tennant and the Master. But yeah, I think I'll end it off on that note. Up next is episode 11. And then, of course, episode 12 after that. But the point being, this is it. this is it, folks. Usually, again, it's a two-part finale, right? So this is the end game now, isn't it? But yeah, if you enjoyed that, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments, give me your thoughts. If you are interested in early access or, timer-based full length, consider checking out the Patreon page and, potentially supporting the channel as well in the process. The links are in the description and the pinned comment. Also links to social media. Right then, thank you so much for joining me, folks, and thank you for your time, because time is precious. It really is. And I do hope to see you again soon for the next one. Until then, take it easy.